What shapes me in much more important ways is whether I am concerned with pursuing my own self-interest or not. That's what, in the end, really constitutes our self, for want of a better word. So I'd like to talk some more about conditionality. I spoke about it in a previous recording, talking about how things are interdependent, how people arise and pass away in dependence upon conditions, how we arise and pass away in dependence upon conditions, and how everything in life is connected. I'd like to expand on that idea a bit. There's some useful things to say. One of the issues sometimes is that when I speak in these terms, people get the impression that I'm talking about as if persons don't exist, as if there's no such thing as a person, there's just a condition. There's just changing conditions. And in trying to address this, I thought I'd share an image that I've found very, very helpful over the years as I've grappled with this idea myself. So the issue goes like this. Imagine, and this is a big ask to imagine the vast sea of conditions. This sea is unbelievably enormous. It contains all the conditions that have been, all through time. And it contains all conditions that currently are, right now, that currently are. And somewhere in this vast sea of conditions, in a tiny corner, there are a whole bunch of whirlpools going on. And these whirlpools, there are 8 billion of them right now. These whirlpools, each one represents currently an individual human life. So if I think about the whirlpool of my own life, things come in, conditions come in, the meal I've just eaten, the people I've just spoken to, the adverts I saw yesterday, the schooling that I received 30, 40, 50 years ago, the gene expression that's going on right now, my psychological predilections, my preferences, all of these conditions are shaping and reshaping my experience right now. My temperament, reshaping my experience right now. My relationships, constantly shaping and reshaping my experiencing. Things flow in, they affect me and they leave. Things flow in and affect me and leave. The things I read, the things I watch, the things I listen to, the things I eat, the things I breathe, the places I go, all of this is constantly changing me. I exist in this sea of conditions, and I'm one particular whirlpool amongst 8 billion other whirlpools that are equally being shaped and affected by things moving in the sea of conditions. And the issue is this: for many of us, our attention is caught down quite low in that whirlpool. Our consciousness is pinned quite low into that whirlpool, thinking just about me, mine, my concerns, my wants, my desires, or perhaps a little bit higher up, the concerns and desires of my friends and family, the concerns and desires of my people and circumstances, my concerns, my desires, our concerns, our desires, what we want, what we don't want, what we'd like, what we don't like. That pins us down in a certain place, and it's a driving force that drives this whirlpool, because what I want, I seek out and I pull towards me. What I don't want, I push away and avoid. And in this way, I'm shaping and reshaping this whirlpool all the time, according to my wants and my not wants, our not wants. And our attention can remain pinned quite low down in the whirlpool. But when we engage in some of the practices and ideas that constitute the journey to awakening, we can begin to allow our attention to rise up somewhat, to come slightly up the whirlpool, further up and further up. We can begin to take note of some of the 8 billion other lives going on all around us, to take note of the rest of the environment that we move in, the planet that we're a part of. We can begin to take that into account. We can begin to see and to live for more than just me and mine and my wants and my desires. And if we can begin to let go of the grip of I want this, I don't want that, I need this, I don't need that, I'll take this, I'll avoid that, me, mine, when we begin to loosen that grip, then we become aware of the fabric of life all around us. Then we can get into a sympathetic resonance with the rest of life. And in that way, eventually come into the real sympathetic resonance, which is an understanding of and a seeing of and a resounding with the life all around us. So the journey to awakening is one of the means by which we begin to bring our attention up this whirlpool so that we begin to see more of what's actually going on. We become less self-referential. Now, I hope that in some ways this image can help you to understand what we mean when we talk about persons. A person is a coming together of conditions driven by this process of I want this, I don't want that, I don't mind the other, want this, don't want that, don't mind the other, want, don't want, don't want, will have, don't want, will have, must get, must, etc., etc., etc. That shapes us and reshapes us all the time. And the processes that we cling to voraciously over and over are what's driving this process of rebecoming over and over and over again. We don't have to go in that way. There are conditions operating that we don't get free of. Our genetic inheritance, that just goes on. Biological processes go on. The laws of physics go on. But they can all go on in ways that enable us to relate to them with a sense of appreciation and freedom, with a sense of love, if you like. But if all we're concerned about when we look at our environment is what we want for ourselves, then we confine our awareness very low down in the realm of possibilities. Getting free of that self-preoccupation is a large part of the journey towards awakening. It doesn't mean that there are no persons, because in the end, we are recognizable whirlpools. The processes that make me, me, that you can see and relate to right now, these processes, the biological processes, the physical processes, they just go on. I don't need to drive them. What shapes me in much more important ways is whether I am concerned with pursuing my own self-interest or not. That's what, in the end, really constitutes our self, for want of a better word. Self-preoccupation, self-concern, self-needing. The need to be a separate self, the need to be a defined self, the need to be me. When I can let go of that and just pay attention to the flow of life all around me and let go of my needs, my wants, then a mode of experiencing which is quite different comes into being.